All the cool kids are putting high-speed, low-drag, modern optics on their infantry rifles. They're fast, they're accurate, they're smooth, they're tactical and tactical. But this old man just ain't quite ready to buy into the trend yet. Stand by for some grumpy harumphing, men. Cue the intro. So, optics on an infantry rifle, right? Not sure what the title will be yet, but it'll be something like that. So, not a fan, never have been, but I've been gradually, slowly, sort of changing my mind as of lately, for a whole host of reasons. You know, anytime the Marine Corps does something, I'm susceptible to it. The Marine Corps put an optics on their rifle, in-range TV, and their What Would Stoner Do project. You know, they put optics on theirs without even any backup sights. And yeah, you just see some guys who are really good shooters and know weapons have been doing it, and I've been being seduced. And I'm not saying I'm not still being seduced, but I saw something today, and I may have to do an up close shot on this for you to see it. A buddy at work had this little red dot sight on his turkey gun. It was a 3.5-inch Magnum turkey gun. He had this red dot on there. And I don't know if you can see this crack down in there. Does that show up, baby?
If you move your finger a little bit.
If I move my finger a little bit?
I think that's good.
He was off hunting the other day, and he's not even sure how it happened. He went to you know, he got to where he was going, and he looked down and sighted down his shotgun, and he saw this crack on the bottom there. And I'm not saying I'm completely poo-pooing the whole concept. I know we live in modern times, modern technology, but this was on a turkey gun, you know. And I mean, a 3.5 Magnum, a turkey gun. It was taking probably a little bit of abuse, but not sustained abuse. And this guy's not even sure what happened. He didn't drop the gun or anything like that. He just went to look through it, and there was a crack. And this may still function. He hasn't tried to zero it or anything, and I know nothing about them. I'll be honest with you, I'm ignorant. This is a red dot. I know nothing about them. I can tell you this. It seems quality. If someone handed me this and said that it was a quality sight, I wouldn't be able to tell them nay. It's made from aluminum. There's no plastic parts. It doesn't wiggle. It all, you know, moves positively. It has the things you would think to look of for quality, but it just broke, and it broke out of nowhere. And so the optics on the infantry rifle, and this is the kind of stuff everyone uses these days, right? This is what I see the most of, red dots. I mean, I have A2 iron sights, so I mean, what do I know? I'm nobody, but this kind of stuff is what you see. And this stuff is probably really, really, really effective. Technology always is in its sphere, right? But this stuff, in the military at least, is backed up by this gigantic supply train. If my buddy had been in Afghanistan and broke his red dot sight, literally a helicopter would have taken off from some base a couple hundred miles away and flown him out a replacement. When the battery goes dead, helicopters will take off and fly him replacements. You know, everything. I should have probably started with this. Everything I talk about when it comes to rifles and infantry rifles, I should say militia rifle, I think of from the standpoint of the militia. You know, and the militia does not have that massive supply chain behind it. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a red dot on your rifle. You shouldn't have an optic on your rifle. I mean, that's probably a personal decision, but it just makes me question them again. And I don't know what brand this is. Don't ask me. It doesn't say on there. I'll say this. Nowhere on here does it say made in China. Let me look underneath the battery cap before I make crazy. No, it doesn't say made in China anywhere. So I don't know where it's from, who makes it, what its quality is. But it just gives me pause, you know. I mean, I know every step of the way in development, there's always those old curmudgeons saying the old ways are better. The old ways are better. You know, my dad was in the Navy, and he used to. The Navy used to have this saying where they talk about the age of iron men and wooden ships, you know, and how iron ships made men. I don't, you know, in the Marine Corps, they used to talk about being a 2-blanket Marine and a 1-blanket Marine. Now these days, when I was in, they used to talk about being a crucible Marine or a pre-crucible Marine. You know, the old ways are always best. I've known people, and I have said this myself. A rifle should be walnut and steel, you know, or what was it, walnut? Well, I don't remember what we used to say. Oh no, that's what. A rifle should be walnut and 30 caliber. That's what it was. We'd say. So yeah, you don't want to just be that Luddite who's always just opposing technology and progress purely to oppose technology and progress. But technology and progress isn't always progress, you know. I mean, this guy just had his turkey hunt ruined, ostensibly. And who knows? It may have still worked despite that crack. I don't know. I'm sure some of you guys can tell me a little bit more about it. But the point being is it broke, and if it broke, you know, that much, it could break even more. But if you were, you know, relying on that rifle for the militia or just anything, or just because you invested, you know, your hard-earned money in it, and this thing broke, and you're trained up on this thing, and your muscle memory and your primary ability to use your weapon at your highest capability is all predicated on this piece of glass powered by a battery-powered piece of glass. I'm talking myself back into the old thing now. The more I think about it, a battery-powered piece of glass. I don't know. I'm not sold on them yet. I am sure there are guys out there who can tell me how that's nuclear powered, and you know the cockroaches will be the only thing that survives it, and all this stuff. But I'm holding this piece of broken battery powered glass in my hands, saying I'm not for the militia. For the militia, look, if you're an operator, if you're a competitor, obviously, I mean, there's all sorts of things. But when you're talking about the general militia, a rifle that you have to rely on and be trained on, and with your limited resources and your limited training time, and 100% or as reliable as possible, I question if this goes there, if this is part of that. I'm not saying it necessarily isn't. Obviously, In-Range TV, who has forever endeared themselves to me with their mud test that the AK-47 failed, I still giggle. I'll wake up in the middle of the night sometimes giggling about that mud test that the AK-47 failed, and the AR-15 passed with flying colors. Oh, even them, they're not able to completely sell me on this. Ooh, I like the capabilities, I like what it can do, but I worry about what it might do, you know? There we go, man. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Listen here, you young whippersnappers. In my day when we resisted tyranny, we didn't use polymers. We didn't use titaniums or lithiums or Lithuanians. We used wood, we used iron, and we used guts.